Greg Hill here with We Are Change Victoria, coming to you from the NDP rally at the University of Victoria. I have Jessica Van Der Veen. She's a candidate for the Oak Bay Gordon Head riding here at... Welcome. Thank you for coming on the show with us.
Very much. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. And what a great event it was, hey?
Absolutely. There was a lot of energy, and I think Adrian was very fluent in his conversation. So we're here as alternative media. Here we publish on Shaw Cable Channel 4.
Yeah.
And so we just interviewed Carol James and John Horgan and Maureen Karagiannis. And so we wanted to get their thoughts on a couple of things. And one of the topics we talked about was smart meters here in the province of British Columbia. And maybe we could get your thoughts in terms of, we've seen a lot of groundswell from the community as citizens, I guess, concerns around the health and cost and the privacy issues for smart meters. What's your take on smart meters?
Well, my first take is it would have been great if we spent $1 billion on retrofitting instead of smart meters, because then we really would have saved energy. We really would have had an effect on the environment. $1 billion would buy us a lot of retrofitting, a lot of energy saving appliances, that sort of thing. So it's sad not to spend the money on that, because what's going to happen is that a lot of people are just going to bite the bullet and turn up the heat or turn on the stove at 7 because they always have dinner at 7. So in terms of the environmental savings, it's unfortunate, because I think we could have done a lot better with our $1 billion.
And do you think the program is being rolled out by BC Hydro, and we see the Corex people coming to people's homes and entering their property, and they're telling folks that they have to install the smart meters? Would as a candidate or as an MLA, would you guarantee people an opt-out provision for smart meters?
Well, our energy critic has said that people should probably have a choice, and I agree with that. And I've been monitoring closely in the riding to make sure that people are being treated with respect, and that's a very important thing to me. So I've been checking in with people if they've contacted me about the issue, which several of our constituents have contacted, to say, are you being treated respectfully? Are your wishes being respected? And so far the answer I'm getting is that if they say a firm no, they're not being disrespected. Their Corex is saying okay and going away.
But as a potential MLA, would you support an opt-out provision for citizens? I
think people should have a choice, probably, in the future, but I think that ultimately that's a decision that rests with our energy minister.
So one person should decide, or?
Well, nobody ever one person decides in a ministry, because what a good energy minister will do is consult with the public and also consult with the scientists in their own ministry and see what the best course of action is. Now that the smart meters are there, we have to make the best of a bad lot, really. So how can we use them to the best advantage of the citizens of BC, really? And how can we make sure that people feel as safe and happy in their own homes as they possibly can? That's the question on the table.
So just to be clear, that you wouldn't support an opt-out clause, though, for smart meters?
I would, if that's the way the energy minister went, if that's the decision that was been made. I think people should have a choice if it's at all possible.
Okay, great. Okay, well, interviewing Maureen Karagiannis, so we wanted to ask her a couple other questions.
Sure.
Just about, we're talking about agriculture here, and Adrian was talking about agriculture and how he supports the agriculture industry. One of the largest crop productions that we have here in the province is hemp and marijuana. Now, what's your stance on the people being free to use and consume marijuana?
I think it should be decriminalized, but I don't think it should be legalized. I think it should be a regulated substance. I have concerns about children's access. I have concerns about driving, safety concerns, basically public safety concerns. I think we have to address it as a reality in our society, but I think we have to do it in a very responsible way, because there are hazards associated with children and youth using this substance, and there are definitely hazards associated with things like driving and operating machinery. So I think it needs to be a controlled substance.
But should people be put in jail for smoking marijuana?
Well, decriminalization says simple possession is not a jailable offense, but it says, and this is very basic interpretation, but it says that people can't deal it. That dealing in volume is the problem, is my understanding. So no, I don't think that people should be put in jail just for using a bit of it. But, you know, as I said, I'm always going to be the person going, what is safe? What is responsible? It's just like our use of alcohol, right? It's a fine line, even though there's arguments about which drug is more or less dangerous. The fact of the matter is that your consciousness is altered, so you have to take steps, and we as a society have to take steps to keep you and other people safe.
And would you agree that prohibition didn't work and the war on drugs isn't working?
Yes, I would. I think that education and a positive approach to children and youth especially is going to be a lot more powerful.
So it's following the lead of the United States in the war on drugs, putting people in jail. The United States is the #1 jailer in the world, larger than China. Should all those people be in jail?
Well, here's
just for consuming marijuana?
Here's some news. Guess who the #2 jailer is? Canada. So we have a problem if we have that high a percentage of our citizens in jail, and particularly First Nations. We have a major problem in our society if that's what's happening.
And what about hemp production? Just to flip the coin, in terms of an agricultural product, would you support the industrialization of hemp in the province?
Yeah, sure. The only thing, the reservation that I would have is that it can grow on very marginal land. And that's a good thing. I would not like to see really high quality agricultural land used for that, because high quality agricultural land should be used to grow food.
Okay, and I guess one last final question for you. Just want to get your take. In terms of the global population of, what we have, over 7 billion people on the planet right now, and the increasing demands on our environment and resources, what would be your stance on trying to reduce the global population?
Well, I think there's a lot of work being done in that area already. The main thing that you want to do if you want to reduce population is if you educate women, young women, if you can keep a young woman in school to the age of 14, so about grade 8, her average number of children drops significantly. Because she understands, she knows how to read, she knows how to learn, she understands how she could help her children survive. People don't get up in the morning and say, I'm going to have 8 kids because I frivolously want 8 kids. They're praying that some of them will survive, really. So if we help women guarantee their children's survival by giving them the education that we need, that's what will happen.
And do you think we should be reducing the world's population?
I think it is being reduced.
But do you think we should?
I think it is happening. So I mean, I don't know. I would never dictate to another human being, you can only have so many kids, or you can't have kids, or you can have kids. What I observe and what all the studies show is that if you give people more education, they have less kids.
So would you support...
I'd support more education.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you support policies from the United Nations like Agenda 21 that supports a reduction of population?
The only thing I know about Agenda 21 is nothing. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, great. But you know it's produced by the United Nations. Have you seen it?
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay, but you have heard of it before, though.
Well, I've heard the words Agenda 21, but I don't know anything about them, so I can't comment.
Okay, would you look into it?
Well, probably not during the campaign. I got a lot to do, but probably eventually I'll get curious.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you'd like to recap for our audience?
Well, just that I'd be delighted to have any of you that would like to join us in our campaign office and join us in the campaign effort. We're pretty excited about it. It's a very close race in Oak Bay Gordon Head, and we'd love to have you down there volunteering. Thanks.
Well, Jessica Van Der Veen, she's running in the Oak Bay Gordon Head election. I'm Greg Hill with We Are Change Victoria at the University of Victoria, signing out. Thank you for joining us.